this round too, the red light stopped flashing, so I don't know if it recorded, so I'll just restate everything again real quick. One of the issues I forgot to talk about with the bang stick was one of them needs to be able to handle the local wild apex predator that is not a two-legged person. I was on Gray Man prepping, and in the chat mentioned that I might be COVID positive. I went and got tested Monday. I'm still COVID negative, but I've got something. So why I'm mentioning that is because our ability to survive in a shift event with just homeopathic stuff is going to be really hard if you get some kind of infection that needs to be treated with antibiotics. And then if you're like me, I'm allergic to penicillin and amycin, so that limits the scope and type of antibiotics I can take. I know what the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. I was watching one of the channels I subscribed to, and I kind of got turned off on it. People were talking about, you know, I will not do this, I will not do that, quoting their scripture. You know, basically, you have a certain amount of supplies. No matter what they are, you're going to run out. Even if you have an endless supply, as in you can raise chickens and cows and shed pigs, there's stuff that can happen where you might lose one or two of each, and then you go from having plenty to having nothing. So, and then one of the guys that was on the show was really kind of talking shit. I fasted for 40 days and 40 nights and I'm still here. Yeah, but during those 40 days and 40 nights you weren't up all day and half the night working to survive. So there's one thing to sit on your ass on a couch fast for 40 days and 40 nights. Another thing to be up doing shit. What I would tell you is be careful around extremely religious people. I do not knock them for being religious. It's just that the pivot from I need to do this, you need to do this for me, to God says you need to do this for me is very easy. Some of you might say, why? I went to probably 10 different churches while I was growing up in high school, and then just a few in the Army. And basically what I discovered is church is full of two kinds of people. Those that are truly righteous, and then the rest are fucking perpetrating a fraud. This brings up vegan vegetarians. Every vegan vegetarian I've ever met winds up going back to eating meat. And you say that's kind of harsh. I'm like, well, we are an omnivore species. We eat anything that doesn't eat us. So when you're a vegan or you're someone who's deeply religious and you're not going to eat this, you're not going to eat that, that holds true all the way up to the point where you get hungry. I always tell people, and most people fucking kind of look at me weird, and I say, when you get hungry enough, you'll eat your best friend, and I ain't talking about fucking scruff. Be careful around religious, extremely religious people. And that will give me a segue into personalities. I mentioned in a post that I stopped following a content creator because he would not conform to someone else's rules. Human dynamics will change. People do not really understand how awful we can be. The current system of laws and courts were born about the Wild Wild West. If you have ever watched The Walking Dead, it's one of the series I like. Also, Fear the Walking Dead. What they get wrong is how fat they are and how clean they are. But one thing they do get right is over and over and over, it's one group and leader against another group and leader. big personalities will always rise to the top. You're also going to have self-serving personalities. Just because you have one person walk up to pick what it is, your gate or your fence or whatever, doesn't mean that that person is alone. If you think you can survive alone, then you're foolish. It only takes a scratch or some kind of small infection and it'll bring you to your knees and kill you. You're going to need to learn how to assess those personalities and then decide what to do about it. If anyone thinks they can control rape, you are foolish. I'm not advocating it. I don't believe in it. But unless you, as the person in charge, can spend all your fucking time and effort and energy watching everyone else, which you will not be able to do, it may happen. And why do I bring that up? Let's say you're a leader of a group. You have the standard: if you rape, you get hung or you get released, not to come back. And if you're seen, they will shoot you or whatever. You have a lowling, nothing important person commits the crime of rape. So you say, okay, you knew the consequence. What's your choice? You put them out. Now, one of the, we'll call it a council leader, commits rape. Somebody who is vital to the group's survival. And you say, well, you knew the consequence to that, your actions, you can hang or you can be put out. And then you have members of your council say, that ain't happening. There are rules. Always been rules for thee and not for me. Look at Andrew Cuomo. That cocksucker's probably going to get off without a fucking slap on the wrist. Am I advocating it? No. But you got to understand the consequences of having standards. You can't replace that person's skills. You put them out, and then you put the whole group's fucking life at risk. What are you going to do? Everybody who thinks being in charge is easy, they're foolish. Decisions have long-reaching consequences. Ladies, during high-stress, austere environments, you will be drawn to alpha males. Ladies of the Western world, you enjoy a lot of freedoms and access to things that women in some parts of the world do not. Genetics will cause women to group up, couple up, seeking protection and security. It may or may not be your spouse. Secondly, women used to die during childbirth. Imagine giving birth without a doctor or a nurse. In the 1850s and up until early 1900s, it was an issue. During both of my trips to Iraq, every single woman could have their pick of men. Many did. A little dirty Army secret: women were sent home for abortions during the deployment. Also realize if you're on birth control, regardless of why, we're going to run out. The women all got, in my first deployment, the women all got their period within 2 weeks. Dumbass doctors had the great idea to use a stick-on birth control. The patches all fell off because of sweat. That doesn't even count sexually transmitted diseases. Another issue: pregnancy, childbirth, human dynamics, personal relationships. And you see, I'm going to talk about something that's going to demonstrate the importance of human dynamics and relationships. The CBS series Survival, 40 seasons deep, only 1 or 2 of the most physically fit and capable made it to the end. I should tell you how important relationships are. The winners have mostly been coattail riders. Someone who aligned themselves, and in many cases a woman. A that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully I don't have to do this shit again because it's flashing red, so hopefully I record it. Sheep prep, we're out. Y'all have a good day.